you're wondering what all that rattling is, it's a bad harmonic balancer, and in this video, we replace it. Here we're removing the intake manifold cover, which is installed with 4 bolts, and after removing the 4 bolts, the upper cover comes off, followed by the lower cover. To ensure we have access to both the upper and lower portions of the belt system and the harmonic balancer, we pull the tire out. This car has 2 separate belts, the first of which is removed by loosening the adjustment nut that is located on the power steering pump, followed by loosening the 2 bolts that hold the power steering pump to the motor. The second belt has a standard tensioner that you just need to apply a long wrench to and rotate it, which will loosen the belt and allow you to pull it off over the alternator. Anyone that's ever worked the belt off knows it can be a pain. With the belts off, the next thing to do is loosen up the crankshaft bolt, which luckily or unluckily, depending on how you look at it, we had already been in here and taken off the harmonic balancer a few months ago to replace the timing belt. And we torqued it to the proper spec, which is about 180 pound-foot on this car. So it was pretty easy to take off. The first time we took it off, we did have to use a cheater bar and wedge it to the ground, and then use a separate wrench, breaker bar, and a cheater bar to loosen the bolt. It was probably 250 or 300 pounds force that needed to be applied. Pretty ridiculous. To add to that, there's also a special tool. So after wiggling the old harmonic balancer off, we pop on a brand new one and essentially reverse the process, just taking care to align the harmonic balancer with the key that is located at the end of the camshaft, and then we properly put the belts back the way we took them off, which the belt that wraps around the power steering pump goes on first and in the back, and then the belt that wraps around the tensioner and the alternator goes on in front. Then we put in the crankshaft bolt as far as we could by hand, and we used a hammer drill with a limiter on it of 180 pound-feet. Got that locked in, and then we finished it out by putting back the belts and putting the covers back on. I won't show the whole process, but it's basically the same process as taking it off, just in reverse. For reference, the torque on the bolts holding in the power steering pump was 17 foot-pounds, and the allowable deflection, as shown in the previous graphic, is about zero point 0.4 inches for a new belt and somewhere between 0.5 and zero point 0.6 for an old belt.